Shalom Aleichem Rabotai. This is Rabbi Kovacs. We are continuing in the 10th and final parak of the Mishnah of Sheviit, in the Mishnah Yomi. We are on Mishnah Gimel, which is a very famous concept. We started discussing yesterday the Shmitat Kesafim, the relinquishing of loans and debts, that basically the end of the Shemitah year, the last day of the Shemitah year, we cancel out all of the loans that stand ready to be collected. Now, yesterday we said there's an exception for items that are not loans, but are really fines of the court or court-generated debts. And so Mishnah Gimel, you should be aware of that fact. Going to Mishnah Gimel, Prozbul eno mishamet. A debt that's in a Prozbul is not mishamet. So Mishnah will actually explain what is this Prozbul. Ze echad min advarim shehitkin Hillel zaken. This is one of the things that was established by Hillel the elder. Kashera shenimneu ha'am milchavot zeyet zeh. When he saw the nation was holding back from lending to each other, ovrim al mashakasuv b'Torah, and by doing so, we're over a lav in the Torah. The pasuk Hishamer lecha penye devar im levavcha bilioil, that beware for yourself lest there be some illegal thought. We'll translate it in your heart, and the pasuk continues that you'll say, a person will say, not you guys, someone else will say, the seventh year is approaching, and it's the year of Shemitah, and then you will not lend to your brother, you won't give him a loan, it will be a sin. So Hillel saw people were actually fulfilling this pasuk in the wrong way, since it's a law, and they were not lending out. So Hitkin, Hillel, Prozbul. So Hillel established a Prozbul. We'll get into how you do a Prozbul in the next Mishnah, but Prozbul, the Gittin, the Gemara in Gittin Lamed Vav explains it's actually a Greek word, and Prozbul is a contraction of pros, buli, ubuti. So pro, we know the word pro, like pro forma. So pro is a Greek word for the benefit of. Bul is the rich people. So the buli is the wealthy, and buti is the poor people, is the poor. So this is a benefit for the rich and the poor. So how so? Because if it provides some sort of security for the rich men to lend out money, then it's also a benefit for them because they'll be able to collect their loan, but it's a benefit for the poor who need the loan, who need to raise capital to fund their farms or their business ventures or whatever it is, and they need to have capital available. And if all the lenders are not willing to lend in the months or the years ahead of Shemitah, then they're going to have a big problem. The Bartanura explains how it's possible, because we know it's deraisa. Shemitah Ksafim is deraisa. So he says that the Torah links the Yovel year to Shemitah's Kesafim. They're put together in the same pasuk. So Hillel realized from this that Shemitah's Kesafim is only deraisa. It's only active on a deraisa level when we also have Yovel, which depends on the majority of the Jewish population being in Eretz Yisrael, and possibly some of each Sheviit being on their ancestral land, because in Yovel the ancestral lands are returned. It's a whole discussion in the Gemara what's actually required to trigger Yovel on a deraisa level. So Hillel realized that even in his time, in the time of the second Beis Hamikdash, Yovel was not deraisa, but was derabanan. Not Yovel, but both Yovel and Shemitah's Ksafim were derabanan and not deraisa. So that would be possible, since they were only at a rabbinical level, to have a rabbinical safeguard, so people would not be over this pasuk that the Mishnah quotes, and you're not going to lend money. So he says, listen, people, he says, Shemitah's Ksafim is only a derabanan right now, and people are being over a deraisa by not lending. So we're going to suspend the derabanan issue and allow this Prozbul as sort of a workaround to allow them to collect loans. So Mishnah Dalet explains, Zehu gufo shel Prozbul. This is the essence of a Prozbul. Moser ani lachem, this is the language of it. Moser ani lachem ish ploni ufloni hadayanim shemakom ploni. I'm giving over to you, and he lists the names of the judges in this place, in this court. Shekol chov sheyeshli, any debts that I am owed, she'egbenu kol zman she'ertze, I can still collect them when I want to, meaning after the Shemitah year. Hadanim chotmin lamata edim, and judges sign below, or witnesses. So this is a court document, and we mentioned in Mishnah Base that debts to the court, judicial proceeding generated chovos, are not canceled in Shemitah. So basically, the Prozbul is a workaround as well, that is, someone's giving over his debts to the court, and now they become sort of under the jurisdiction of Bezdin, and he can still collect them later. It's also interesting that Adim could sign. It sounds like the court could appoint, officials to be Adim to sign these documents, so the judges themselves aren't inundated at the end of the Shemitah year with a whole flood of these Prozbuls. Shkoyach Rabosai. There's a lot more explanation. There's a lot more hesber in the Kahati also. I just stuck to the Bartanura today, but there's a lot more in the Kahati giving background and explanation of how this Prozbul works. Shkoyach.